You are now tuned in to the Gurunomics podcast.
All right, guys, Justin Brock here today, back with another Gurunomics podcast episode. I'm so glad you're joining us. Today I have Roger Comstock, and he's somebody I had seen on a couple of other podcasts and just researched a little bit after watching him on there. And he's just doing some interesting stuff, some niche things that I don't know anything about. And, you know, I'm kind of a steward of entrepreneurialism. So if I hadn't heard of it, it must be cutting edge. So Roger is a serial entrepreneur who has developed an affinity and obsession for business and helping people. He teaches individuals how to start recurring revenue businesses without venture capital, debt, or real estate through the utilization of digital assets. So the interesting part I love here is so many people preach on real estate. And like we were talking before, cap rates are really high. I have several residential rental properties. I own a commercial building, and I'm looking at building another building. But the properties that I have from several years ago are like my investment. If I wanted to sell them, is really come to fruition. But if you're buying right now, you know, you're paying top dollar, and I don't know where that's going. But to go on here, so Roger says he's the CEO founder of the $0 startup, tuple flipper, Comstock Consulting, and Duvera Investment Group. Roger loves being with family, especially his sweetheart Kayla. She is literally his best friend, and he enjoys being outside, golfing, camping, learning, thinking, reading, laughing, accomplishing goals, and helping people understand and reach their potential. So I think the biggest, you know, thing, the like underlying theme here is that Roger, you know, wants to provide a great income for him and his family, but only doing so by helping people, which is very important to me. And he has a golden doodle named Max, which is awesome too, because Roger, I have two golden doodles. Mine are both girls.
They're the best.
I have Emma. She's my big one, and I have a puppy right now, who's a chocolate colored with a white spot on her face, named Maggie, and they are great dogs. So my wife can only have hypoallergenic dogs, so they work.
Likewise, man. Likewise.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So anyway, Roger, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Time. Well, Roger, I want to dive right into a couple of things. You know, I had just taken some notes from some of the stuff you had said, you know, in some of your other interviews. And one of them, before we were talking about, it's important to practice what you preach. And you have a business called Tuple, which is kind of a marketing company, it sounds like, and, you know, but with the intent to be doing what you preach to other people to do in $0 startup. So tell us a little bit about, you know, what you're talking about when you say you can develop traffic for other people's businesses and digital assets that provide you passive income.
Yeah, I think what's super important for people to understand right now in the macro economy or in a micro economy is that things are constantly changing, especially with the onset of innovative tech solutions. There's always new opportunities to make money. And what's important is understanding how we can leverage certain assets that we have at our disposal to be able to help other people and create value for businesses that may or may not understand how to do or exploit certain skill sets on their own. And what I mean by that is you've got, like, the home industry is a good area that we can kind of focus on here for the next little bit, because they are really, really good at what they do, whether it's going to be epoxy flooring or carpet cleaning or HVAC, electricians, plumbing, landscaping, whatever it is. They do really, really good in their individual trades. But a lot of the times these individuals don't understand the tech side of things, right? They don't know how to get new traffic or make more money through driving traffic to their businesses. They just know how to do what they do really well. And so what I do is enable these individuals to create a symbiotic relationship between my company and theirs. And I do that through the utilization of digital assets, which is very, very different. It's new in comparison to what other people have done in the past. So there's really not a whole lot of precedent for what I'm doing, but it works insanely well. What I'll do is basically set up, since we both kind of understand real estate a little bit here, it's cool. If somebody were to buy a duplex or a triplex, right? They're going to spend a good amount of money in this economy, at least locally around me. It's bonkers, man. Utah has gone crazy. Townhomes are $560,000, which is crazy. But so buying a duplex is going to be about 1.5 to 1.7 million. And it's interesting because people are going to rent that out for, let's just say it's $2,000 per side per month. So $4,000 a month. But then you consider the mortgage and replacement things in the house. Maybe one side needs a new HVAC system, one roof is leaking or whatever it is. There's these replacements, and real estate can be very, very lucrative as far as asset appreciation and cash flow. But man, it can also be risky and it can be really challenging, right? So what I want to do is help people mitigate risk. I want them to know that they can utilize digital assets in mitigating risk, and they act a lot like digital real estate. So what I can do is put up a digital asset, and maybe I'm going to call it, Utah Home Services, right? Something like that's what the digital asset will be called. And what's amazing is that it acts just like a rental property, except it doesn't cost me money. So people are going to spend a lot of money to get a couple thousand in rent from people. Whereas I can put up a digital asset and I can put an infinite amount of renters, businesses under that asset that will pay monthly, and it doesn't cost me any money. So there are no costs associated with the asset, which is just amazing. It's absolutely crazy. So what I mean by that is, we've got Utah Home Services. Let's say that I help an epoxy company, a carpet cleaning company, a landscaping company, a carpet cleaning company. All of those businesses can be put under that asset, and they can rent traffic from me, just like a renter in real estate, right? So they could be spending $1,200 a month, so if I've got, to make the math really easy, let's just say, I've got 5 clients, right, paying $1,200 a month. That means I'm collecting $6,000 a month, and I'm helping provide a lot of value to these clients. And that asset is risk-free, which is very, very interesting, because usually passive income assets are, they entail some risk, right? They require a lot of analysis and understanding. So cool stuff. It's been a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, no, I like what you're saying, because we've looked at dynamic domains for our space in the Medicare health insurance space, and if you have I wouldn't say a super long tail keyword, but how you're saying, like Utah Home Services, you can actually harness a lot of organic traffic by building out a site specific to that. And so I can see where you're going with that. I'm sure there's a lot of different nuances to it and how to actually get traffic to it and things. And I'm sure that's what you really teach. The home services side, so crazy. When I got into the business, I was like a vice president of a BNI chapter years ago. And there was marketing people. There's a lot of marketers that don't really know that much about marketing, and they would sell someone a website for like their plumbing business. And I know exactly what you're saying in that regard, because the plumbers or the electricians or all these guys, the HVAC guys, they don't know anything about marketing. They know how to fix AC units and, rip apart walls and do all the things that we want them to know how to do when we need that service, but they don't know how to get in front of people. So that if you can get them in front of people, now those marketing people, in my opinion, we're selling snake oil a little bit, because they'd be like, oh, we'll pop you up a pretty site and nobody will come to it. But what you're saying is you're cultivating all of that traffic, and then can build that asset up to be bigger and bigger, rent out for a fee per month for that asset. Their ability to say, hey, anybody that comes through this site that's getting plumbing, we want first dibs on that lead. If it's electrical, it could be an electrician's buying it. And this is not isolated to home services. I guess it could be insurance related. It could be real estate related. It could be all kinds of different things. So very interesting.
That's right. It creates an evergreen market, which is a lot of fun, but it's also a bit more granular as far as who we actually, if you think of the asset kind of like a traffic center, right? So people are coming to it, and we teach something called the autonomy through automation. And when somebody comes to that asset, it's automatically distributed to the individual that's renting it. And so it makes it very, very easy to be able to provide lots of value, like you said, because these guys need help. Yeah. An epoxy flooring guy, he may make $2,000 off a floor that he covers, and maybe doing, four floors a month, so $8,000. But if I can get him 10 floors or 15 more floors, it's going to change his business, So Kind of cool. I love it, man. It's a great value add for these guys.
Yeah. If you can have a win-win-win where you can teach somebody else how to help other people and then make money doing it, and the person they're helping make more money doing it, then everybody's happy. So I say that all the time in here. We're looking for win-win-wins. So tell me,
Yes.
In $0 startup, that's your goal is to go out and find other people that are looking for how to tap into the internet, the internet income boom, right? It's been happening for a long time, but there's a lot of information out there that is potentially outdated where they're sending them down maybe a real estate rabbit hole. It's not that real estate's bad. It's just it's a market that's kind of at its peak. We're sending them down an insurance rabbit hole or something. And you're saying, I'm going to show you a $0 startup where, you can kind of get it on the cusp of something and build something that maybe isn't as competitive as building an Amazon store. That's one of the ones that's out there. Drop shipping, all these things that there's real businesses, but for years now, people have been sending people into those and it's kind of competitive, or maybe some of that traffic's been absorbed, or maybe the cap rates are high or whatever. This one would be a lot less risk on the front end.
Yeah, a lot less. It's also important too. What I love about business is it's always, I think, people like you and me, brother, we're just like little kids. We love to build stuff. And I think it's really, really interesting as we look at kind of the psychology of human beings as we grow into adults, because we don't change a whole lot from being kindergartners and first graders. Honestly, we all love to feel valued and appreciated and loved and important and special. And we still love to build Legos and Lincoln Logs and play in the sandbox, and so it's really, really cool. As we get older, we don't change a whole lot. We want to just make a dent on the world. We want to provide value and impact people's lives in a positive way and leave the world a better place, than when we got here. And so what I love about business is it's constantly pivoting and adapting and evolving and trying to make changes and, influence, in a good way. And one of the things I think is interesting is we look at kind of what's going on online right now, and there's so many things: Web 3.0, crypto, NFTs, digital assets. There's the Amazon stores, Walmart automation, all this stuff. But what I want to be focused on is how can I make people's lives easier? What's the way to do that? And a lot of people don't realize that there doesn't need to be a negative correlation between entrepreneurship and risk. Right. So a lot of times people think that, man, if I'm going to start a business, I already have a wife and kids. I wanted to start a business, but now it's too risky. I can't do it. People need to understand that there are really, really great ways to be able to create income without a lot of risk. And that's through understanding kind of the magic of margins, and that you can sell high ticket products that provide value without worrying so much about the volume play, because it's interesting. Like if we look at Walmart automation or Amazon automation, a lot of the times those stores are going to be getting anywhere between like 10 to 15% margins. And they're selling low ticket items. And so it has to be a volume play, and it's highly saturated. It's red ocean, sharks everywhere, cannibalizing each other's markets. And it's niches. It's a tough world. There's a lot of lucrative opportunities there too, but you got to be good at it. And big players are going to know how to do it better than small fish coming into that pond. And so, you see like fidget spinners were big for a while, so it's like somebody comes in and that's a hot item for 6 months. And let's say they're selling the fidget spinner for $1. Well, if margins are 13%, that means they're making 13 cents off of a fidget spinner. And what the bummer is potentially about that is they got to sell a ton of fidget spinners in order to make that work, whereas in what I want people to understand is they can sell, 5 to 10 products, and they can be set, right? They can be set they can be making thousands of dollars a month in passive income with only 5 to 10 sales. And providing lots of value. And they do that through creating, about 50 to 95% profit margins, while also on the other side, right? Because people have to realize economically, when we look at a market, we have to say, all right, where can we fill a hole, right? Where are the problems and how can we solve them? And I think what happens is, like, if I were to go to a tech company, a SaaS company, and say, hey, let me run some digital assets for you or whatever, that's not going to provide value for these dudes, right? Or gals, because they understand these these processes. But again, home services, the dental industry, the law, doctors, right? These guys are good at their trade. They make a lot of money so they can afford services, and I can push people over to them that make them even more money. So it's a really, really fun thing to figure out and pivot into.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's definitely something that I could see, some of our guys, even when they get to a certain point, contacting you to utilize the process to maybe build one that they benefit from. So I'm just brainstorming, but I'm thinking like if I was an insurance agent, and they always tell us, we niche down, right? So you have health insurance guys, Medicare guys, life insurance, home and auto, commercial, whatever. So if somebody built that digital asset and said, I just want the, say it was like Tupelo insurance services or whatever, and then all I want is the Medicare. I can go and find buddies that will pay me monthly rental space to get all the home and auto leads off of it, or all of the liability things that I don't have any interest in. I'm already referring that to them, but let's just make it a formal thing. There's the potential to do that. And if you, but you have to know how to do it. I mean, anybody can throw up a website. Not anybody can figure out how to get traffic to it. I know, because we spend a lot of money getting traffic to sites, and there's a lot that goes into it. So that's what you teach in $0 Startup, is how to create a digital asset and how to get traffic to it and how to find people to lease that space or that attention.
Yeah, that's right, man. Absolutely. So I teach other people to do, I feel like we gotta share things. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of people who have this like scarcity mentality, like, oh no, I can't tell people what I do, or else they're going to steal it. And then that's going to stop, the market's going to be saturated and I'm not going to have opportunity. And I think it's opposite, right? Like I think there are 300 million individuals in the United States as just people in the economy, consumers willing to buy. And there's 27.2 million small to medium-sized businesses across the country, with 2 million entering the economy every single year. And so there is no way that I'm going to be able to help all these people. There's no way. And so why not serve the economy by, by teaching other people how to help more, teaching students.
The Russell Brunson expert secrets mantra. I mean, he's who encouraged why I sold like Jeremiah, for instance, on the funnel hacking thing. Is I've always followed Russell because I read Expert Secrets, took his affiliate boot camp back in the day, and so sometimes people say, "Oh, if somebody's selling you how to do something, why aren't they doing it?" I say, "I am. Well, we do it. It's actually my most profitable business is what we do." We saw where you were going with the scarcity mindset and the conversation of like, when I do something, I can also teach others to do it. And there's, Russell Brunson has the Expert Secrets book, which is one of the reasons I started developing content for the Medicare agent community, to show how we were doing something. People sometimes as naysayers will say, well, if he's teaching how to do it, then why doesn't he just do it if it's so profitable? And to which I say, well, we are doing it. We're just also teaching it because those are both profitable business for us that both help the consumer, right? They help the consumer that's the agent build a better business. They help the consumer that's the Medicare beneficiary. And so that seems like what you're doing. You're practicing what you preach with Tuple, as in building assets that you're renting access to. And you just understand that you're one man and there are hundreds of millions of people that may need services like this. So teach other people how to do it, charge for that. You make some money teaching them to do it. They make some money finding other people that need help. Those people make money getting more epoxy floors or whatever their service is. So it's just a win-win-win. So I like it. And I appreciate people that just want to, make an income, providing value. But I'm really intrigued because your niche isn't something that I hear people singing about all over the internet right now. No. And so if somebody was, looking for a way that to get going, and create some income, whether it's somebody that's in our audience that's an insurance agency owner or agent that wants something else to start hedging some of their interest in, or somebody hasn't started at all on a journey and is looking for a way to start creating some income, it seems like a good opportunity. So I would encourage people to reach out to you for sure.
No, that's kind of you, man. That's really, really nice. You've got a good thing going there. I always love talking to good people like you. I feel like that's one of the things I love most about business. A lot of people think it's all about money, and I would just say it's not really at all. I think money is more of a byproduct of providing value, right? Like it's interesting. Like this, we live in a world as entrepreneurs that's a bit paradoxical, and the idea is that a lot of people are like, oh, entrepreneurs, it's all about, making oodles of cash. And in my mind, it's like, well, no, actually, it's about providing tons of value and helping, like really helping people. Yeah. And after you help people, then you kind of become a bit of a value vacuum, and the money just kind of, it comes to you. And it's kind of fun. So I think one of the good standards we can live by is if we're doing a good job helping, we'll be making a lot of money. Yeah. But like you said, people shouldn't be really selling snake juice or things that don't work. It's important to take care of people, make sure they have what they need. If people, and that was kind of you too, to say, if any of your audience here wants to follow me, I'm active on Instagram. That's kind of where I am most. They can follow me at roger.comstock. It's Roger without a D. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, man, money, fiat currency or whatever is a currency. And the way I view currencies is it's what makes something tick. And so what makes a business tick is partially money, but that's like there's two currencies. The other currency is value. And if you can't provide value, just bringing in money will shut down a business. It has to be value out, money in for the business to stay in it for the long haul. Otherwise, it's a scam. Somebody goes to prison, or at best, their business doesn't last because they're not providing consistent value in some way. Saying that being a business owner is all about money is kind of like saying life is all about oxygen. No, oxygen is a currency that's keeping me alive, and food and water keep me alive, but it's not what life is all about, right? So I have currencies, and I think with entrepreneurism or having a business, it's value out, money in, and you can't stop one or the other. You have to have the money to keep going, but you have to have the value going out, or nobody's going to utilize your services, and then you don't have any money. So, that's something, and I think the small business is where the heartbeat of that is in the country. Because there are times where the businesses get big enough where it maybe isn't that anymore. So, but dude, I appreciate you being with us today. It's been really interesting because it is a new concept for a lot of our people. And I'm hoping that some of them reach out to you. So reach out to Roger on Instagram if you can. I actually saw you have a pretty decent LinkedIn following as well. So LinkedIn and Instagram are where Roger's at. Roger without a D, Comstock, Comstock. Cool dude, likes golden doodles. He's got my seal of approval. So
you're a good man, brother. I feel thankful to have been with you. Thank you. And by the way, it sounds like you're referencing the Go Giver at the end of your the Go Giver chat here. Yeah, that's it. That book, is that what you were referencing? That book?
Yeah, about I've read it before. I end up paraphrasing a lot of things that I read.
I love that, man. Bob Berg is a good friend of mine, the author of that book. Really, really great guy. Yeah. And one of the things that he preaches that I believe is so important is what you just taught, the law of reciprocity, which is, we give value and things just, it's interesting because it's a natural law, right? Like we breathe out CO2 and trees take it in, they breathe in the CO2 and they breathe out oxygen. We bring that in. And it's just naturally, if we do good things, we'll get good things back. People can say all they want about karma, but it's a real thing, like we do good and we reap what we sow,
You're sowing into the world. And, Gary Vaynerchuk says we're in a thank you economy, but I would concede or I would put out there that we've always been in a thank you economy. We just now are starting to realize it. with our actions towards others, add value, help people, care about them regardless of what you get back. Ivan Meisner is the BNI founder, talks about giver's gain. The people that give first are the ones that are going to end up receiving. The ones that come in thinking, I'll just wait until I receive something before I give anything, they don't ever really get the value out of it. So it's definitely a principle that, some people have to learn to live by, and you can learn it. And other people's just have it inherently. Most of those are like my grandmothers. They never looked at like, what are they going to get out of this relationship? It's just like, I'm just going to pour love and support into you and hope. And maybe that was, I guess it's in the Bible too, man. What is it? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I tried to break that into my kids the other day, the golden rule. I'm like, don't, they were talking about, if my teacher does this, or if this kid does this. And I said, you don't do to them what they did to you. You do to them what you would want them to do to you. And if you treat everybody that way, it's going to come back to you more times than not. So, but anyway, it's great conversation. And, I can tell that you put that into your business. And so if anybody does utilize your services or work with you, I know that they're going to be getting value, because you wouldn't have the relationship continue if you couldn't provide value. So.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much, man. I've enjoyed being with you today, and maybe we'll have to grab a bite one day, grab some lunch or something, but grateful to have spent some time with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always looking for an excuse to go to Utah. So, so I'll talk to you soon, Roger. Thank you so much for being on today, man.
You bet, brother. We'll see ya.
Bye.
Did you subscribe to the YouTube channel? Did you like the video? Please turn your notifications on and head over here to our next video. And if you haven't joined our Facebook group, check out Medicare Gurus. It's over 7,000 members strong currently, and there's tons and tons of wealth of information and knowledge from experienced agents as well as new agents that you can find and help shepherd. So thank you guys so much for watching. Check this video out right here.